of course, most of the mainstream media has long moved past the Jussie Smollett case because, well, it looks very bad for them. Bad in the same way that they don't talk about that evil Ford Explorer in Waukesha, and the car that was driven by a spooky ghost that, the city is still reeling from. People are still fighting for their lives. But, I mean, come on. I mean, there's got to be something similar that a white guy did that they can cover, right? Now, with Jussie Smollett, I don't know if I've missed it, but I thought it was pretty curious how so many of the jurors are now speaking out about him. I haven't seen any of the jurors from the Kyle case make any statements, unless it's possible I've missed it. But we now have the LA Times and Hollywood begging for leniency in sentencing. And I've been on record. I want the maximum. I don't want like some ridiculous overreach. Whatever the maximum is, these are 3 or 4 years. That's what I want. This was a calculated move. This was also, I believe, his second hoax. I believe he faked the initial letter, and that went kind of undetected because he didn't report it to police. Then when he cooked up this other thing, the dude was literally trying to start a race war so that he could make a little more money. It is one of the most depraved, narcissistic, disgusting acts any human has ever done. It's very similar to, remember what was it, Mattress Girl or something like that? These handful of women that make up heinous lies so that they get headlines and ruin men's lives. Not that there aren't men who do bad things. Not that there aren't people that, that are like what Jussie describes, but they weren't in these cases, which is not only a slap in the face to, everyday regular people, but also to those that were on the receiving ends of these type of things. So yes, not only do I believe Jussie Smollett should get the maximum 3 years or 4 years in prison as a federal prison, I believe women that make up fake claims of the R word and name men should also face prison time. That's how seriously I take false allegations, especially when they're premeditated. You want to make up a story about some anonymous person for attention. Okay, fine. But you attach a name to it. You twist the events to, ruin someone's life. That's unacceptable. So now we're getting more jurors speaking out on it, including the sole black juror who had some interesting things to say. The only black juror on the panel that convicted Jussie Smollett of lying to Chicago PD said he couldn't get past what the actor did not do after he claimed that they looped rope around his neck. Rip it off and keep it off. If others saw the rope on Jussie's clumsy effort to portray his attackers as having a problem with his skin color, Andre Hope saw much more. As an African-American person, I'm not putting that noose back on at all, Andre Hope told. Jussie testified that after the incident in downtown Chicago, he returned home and put the rope back around his neck so police who came to his apartment soon after could see it. That never made any sense to me either. It'd be like, a guy stabbed you, but I just left the knife in so you guys could see it. I guess it's probably not like the same exactly, but you get what I mean. He writes, in an interview with News Nation, now after Smollett was found guilty, who was, by the way, Thursday, Eddie Johnson, who was Chicago police superintendent in January when Smollett made the whole thing up, said virtually the same thing. I was concerned because I don't think there's many black folks in America with a rope around their neck that wouldn't immediately take it off. Hope said of the evidence against Smollett was overwhelming. At the trial, the two brothers, of course, testified against him, and he said, quote, "When you just use your common sense as what's there, yeah, it just didn't add up," said Hope, a 63-year-old father of two who lives in suburban Bellwood, west of Chicago. Hope listened to the prosecutors argue against Smollett's staged hoax because he was angry that the studio where he filmed the television program Empire didn't take a mean letter he received seriously. That's because he wrote it himself, in my opinion. But after all the evidence was presented, after all the witness testified, Hope still had one big question. I still have not figured out a motive for why he did, why it even had to happen, Hope said. He was a star. Smollett faces up to 3 years in prison when he returns to court next year for sentencing. Next year sounds further than it really is. It's, I think, like in January, he'll have sentencing stuff going on. You see Jussie's trial's only black juror found the case sad and still wonders why he did what he did. He said the actor's claim that their brothers went after him for real simply made no sense. 2 o'clock in the morning, cold outside. When you just use your common sense as to what's there, it didn't add up. And then they write, now you've got Beyonce's mom. I don't know why anyone cares what her opinion is, but apparently Beyonce's mom has something to say about it. She says that Jussie should be treated with compassion during sentencing. Would he have, would those people that actually suffered, these type of incidents want him to be treated with compassion? I don't think so. Did Jussie care if he had gotten away with this and it led to some sort of rise in, race-motivated attacks and things like that? Would he have cared? Nope. I don't think there's a single person on the planet that would argue with me on that. Jussie Smollett is a narcissist who didn't care who he hurt, as long as it was, en route to getting more clout. So, no, I don't think he should get any kind of compassion. Of course, he won't serve any real time. I believe, I think that, the judge was really annoyed with him and his defense team during trial. So that's like the one thing. I mean, if this dude got 6 months in the clink, that would probably be enough for me. But walking with 0 time is extraordinarily frustrating. There are other examples. You have this other individual, Amy Cooper, getting public service. We will see the outcome of this for a black man. So she's writing, essentially preloading it and saying, if he doesn't get the same sentence as Amy Cooper, then it's racism from an Asian judge, by the way. And if I remember right, this is the Central Park woman calling 911 on a black bird watcher. This is not a premeditated setup to capitalize off race division in this country. The two cases are extraordinarily different, but mega 500 IQ, Beyonce's mom, says they're exactly the same, that he should get exactly the same sentence. Juror in the Jussie case says that they were doing him a favor by not convicting him on the 6th count. According to a female juror who spoke anonymously with the Chicago Sun-Times, the biggest point of contention amongst the jury was what to do with the 6th count was different than the other 5. She explained that they had to do with the second interview about the incident, what Jussie did with the detectives on February 14th, when he reported that he was the victim. Meanwhile, the other 5 counts were specifically about whether or not he lied about the incident at all. We thought we were doing Jussie a favor, the juror said. I don't think I want juries doing any favors. I'd like them to do their jobs, but I kind of get it. She explained that the rest of the jury was told that, because of the assailants were wearing masks, it changed the incident, which remained consistent through Jussie's story. Therefore, regardless of whether or not the incident was staged, jurors believe that Smollett did not lie. What? So because in his original lie, he said they were wearing masks, and then in his secondary lie, he said they were wearing masks, even though it never happened, they didn't convict him? I guess. I don't know. I mean, I don't think you want to be out there publicly saying you did a favor, that you kind of let him off because you felt bad for him. I think either you're guilty or you're not. I know look, this guy doesn't have any criminal record. Again, I'm not saying he should have an unfair sentence. I'm not saying that he should get 20 years. I'm not saying, I'm saying he should pay the restitution, which he has plenty of money to do, and that he should get some time in the clink. That's all I'm asking for. I'm not even saying it has to be the max. I mean, I believe it should be, But I know in reality, this was a horrible mistake made by somebody who is mentally unwell. And, you know, I think justice was served in a way. I'd still like to see him don some prison blues, get out there and make some flaming hot Cheeto pizza dough, make himself up a stinger to boil up some water, cook some hot dogs or something like that. But we'll have to wait till January next year to find out. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.